But going back to you,
Mhm.
okay, Reesie G used to brand himself as a stylist to the stars, right? Very early on.
Mhm.
Talk to us about your whole come up story of how you started as Reesie G within this business before we met you on Chasing Reality.
So I was a stylist, I to the elite,
To the elite. I'm
and
sorry, stylist to the elite. I'm
to
sorry.
the
Yes.
elite.
Uh huh.
So I came in, I had an internship straight out of my senior year of high school. I had an internship at a boutique. The lady that I worked for, her name was Sonia Williams, aka Glitzy. Glitzy was the plug. Glitzy was a Ming Lee before Ming Lee was Ming Lee. She was one of those girls before.
Mm.
She had two stores, one in historic part of Stone Mountain and then one off Memorial Drive.
Mm-hmm.
And she used to go get clothes from Miami, LA, and bring them to Atlanta for the girls to have. And so she taught me everything I know about how to spot a real from a fake, how to see how to clock a shoe from a distance, how to eyeball somebody's foot and say, oh, you need this size shoe, all of that. So she
Mm-hmm.
trained me up. And then the opportunity came for Real Housewives. There was this buzz about this show coming to the city. At the time, her hairstylist, his name is Elijah Cohen, big deal now. He was doing Nene's hair and also Lisa Wu Hartwell or Lisa Wu. And so they needed clothes. So at the beginning, they had wardrobers come to wherever they was doing their green screens and bring them like a rack of clothes and then pick from the clothes for them to wear for their confessionals. Um, at the time they was doing them in their house and then they would switch up and all this stuff. But so Lisa Wu was actually the first client that I had to wear something that I pulled. So from there, we started getting in the door at all these different events. I started meeting all of the socialites like Derek J and Miss Lawrence and all of that. And it just kind of started to snowball into, okay, yeah, because in Atlanta, if you're at the event and your face is familiar, then they're going to be like, who is this keep popping up? And
Mm-hmm.
so that's what
That's exactly
happens.
how it works in Atlanta.
It's exactly how it works. So if you're not invited, you're nobody. So when I started getting into the room, that's when I started getting clients. And then
Mm.
I was just being pushed around from one reality show to another reality show. So started out Real Housewives, then went over to Love and Hip Hop, then did the New Atlanta, then did Cutting It in the ATL, then went back to Love and Hip Hop. Then started when I moved here is when I did Dallas Housewives, but not really. And then outside of that, I was doing campaign work, work with Derek Blanks, work with Drexina Nelson, work with Macy's and Sean John and TJ Maxx and, doing that type of stuff, traveling in and out the country to go and do these little small shoots without an agency. That was always the get. My selling point was, yeah, I'm a stylist. I have pulling power, but I don't have an agency. So they will always hire me. They say, okay, well, can you pull? Yes, I can. Where can you pull from? I can pull from this. I had friends. See, the way I used to get clients. So I would go to, like, say, Neiman's or Saks, and I would make friends with all the perfume salespeople, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make friends with them. And I would say, listen, so my uncles love fragrances because my uncles had little coins. So they would go and they would purchase so they can, whenever they needed to purchase to meet their quota for the month, my uncles would come and they would buy so they can meet their quotas. In return, they would tell me the hot days that the celebrities would come in and shop. So I knew you go to Neiman's on
Mm.
Thursdays, you go to Saks on Tuesdays, you go to Phipps Plaza on Tuesdays. So Thursdays, I would look in the Vogues, I would look online and see what are the new shoes that just came out, learn the names of the shoes. Then I would go to Neiman's and then I would just be looking around. I would ask the salespeople, hey, can you bring me the new hot chick or the new So Kate Louboutin? Then they would bring it out and I would look at it, I would examine it just to see it for myself. And then I would let them take it back. And then I would go to Phipps, get the phone call, say, hey, your Dutzy is about to come through and shop. She just called me. Cool. Go over there, walk in, bump it. Oh my God, you are so pretty. Is that the new hot chick that you're trying on? How do you know that? Oh, girl, I'm a stylist. Here's my card. Client. Just like that. And then that's what
Hilarious.
would happen. You have to, move around and network like that. And then that's how I made money. Either I was styling for a shoot or I was driving Uber and Lyft trying to make this money.
Trying to
And
make
then
this
so
money.
I made it and it worked. It just
Yeah.
worked. And then I ended up, I worked with the last client that I wanted to work with that was on my list was Monyetta Shaw. And I worked with Monyetta, and it was a pleasure to work with her. And we got published in Today's Black Woman and Black Hair and The Sophisticate. And then I was like, okay, yeah, it's time for me to move. And I told my uncles I wanted to move, and they was like, what do you think about moving? My best friend was like, try Dallas. And I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then hit it to Dallas.
Are you still in Dallas?
Mm-hmm. I'm in Dallas. I live here, but I mean, I stay gone sometimes, but I'm here.
I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, right? So please. If you guys go back to Real Housewives of Atlanta season 6 to the Bailey Bowl, and if you look real close on We Rich Bitch Team by Nene Leakes, you will see a Reesie G on screen.
You want to know how that happened?
Talk to me. And I also want you to tell me or tell us what you saw that day.
Oh, child. So what happened was I had went to, so bar 1 was new and popping, right? That's where everybody was going. Went to bar 1, and I had recently met Greg Leakes. May he rest. And I met
Sweet
Greg.
man.
Oh my God.
I met him one time. Sweet.
Infectious.
Sweetest souls ever.
So nice. And so I met him because I was at the time hanging out with this group of affluent gays. They thought I was fabulous because I was a stylist, but little did they know I ain't had 2 quarters to rub together at the time.
It's all right.
But I was, running around with the girls and getting clients and stuff. I had met that night. I was working on the New Atlanta. I had met Portia and I had met Portia that night, and I had met her sister Lauren that night. But previously, just out and about, I had met Shamea. Me and Shamea were cool. I had met Crystal Renee. Y'all know her as Fatima on Tyler Perry's show. She was a stylist at the time. And so we used to kind of tell each other where the events were and we would go around. So I had went there, met Mr. Leakes, and then ended up getting a call from a friend of mine. And he was like, Reesie, what you doing? I was like, nothing, just at the house. Okay, but they filming Housewives at the YMCA. You need to come up here. And I was like, come up here. It was the YMCA of Bouldercrest.
Andrew Young?
Andrew Young. It's over there.
Because I used to work at the YMCA, so right. I knew all the YMCAs at the back of my hand.
It was the one in the hood. It was over there.
Andrew Walter Young.
And then at the time, I was cool with Lexus because if you remember, Lexus used to bartend at the daiquiri factory.
I never knew that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yes, God. Yeah, Lexus, and that's how I met Keisha.
Keisha, my girl.
She owns it. So the one that used to sit right there on the corner. In right off, what's that, Spring Street? Spring?
Oh, you talking about the daiquiri factory downtown?
Yeah, the one downtown. Not the one she bought the new place, but the small one.
Yes, that was downtown.
I would go up there all the time and with her, and she used to give me, you used to just sit there and kiki and drink. And that was that's how I kept in the room too. We used to talk all the time and eat them, what do you call them, them little crab claws. Anyway.
That Keisha still sell to this day, child. That'd be so
good. The best thing going. And so when I got there, I was like, yeah, let me go. So I hopped in my little scooter boot and I went over there and I looked great. I was smaller then, so it was giving curvature. And so, I walk in and I'm just, hey. Portia seeing me again. I'm like, hey, girl, hey. And all the girls. So I was like, okay, this girl is popping. So then I sat down because we were just going to watch. And then Mr. Leakes walked up and he was like, hey, we need 2 more players. Do y'all want to come and play? And I was like, sure. And then he gave me the very rich shirt, went over there. Nene remembered my face. I don't think she knew who I was, but she remembered my face. And so we were on the team. We didn't play nothing, but we were on the team, got me a little camera time. And then we go out to the field. Now here's where it gets good.
Ooh.
So we go out to the field. You know this story, but I'm telling the girls. Ooh. So we go out to the field and we are about to play things on the field. So me and Lexus are sitting there and we're just talking just about, we was honestly just catching up and kikiing, but then Kenya Moore walks over. And so Kenya Moore, she speaks to me because I've seen her, and then her and Lexus have a conversation. And as you know, not everything airs, right?
Mm-mm.
So her and Lexus was having a conversation, and then I got into the conversation because they was talking about something that happened at bar one, you know, a little cute little conversation or whatever. And then Marlo walks over. Marlo walks over, and Marlo, me and her had a booking like maybe like 2 months ago, 2 months prior, where she was booked to come out, and I was working at, you remember Peter Maxfield, that place over there in Lindbergh? So it was a place over in Lindbergh, and it was kind of like this before Salon Suites was a thing, it was like that. And so they had booked us to come in. I was a stylist. She was just the talent that came in because she was the Marlo Hampton, right? So I was familiar to her. So she's sitting there and she was talking to Lexus and saying, you know, I just really want to go and talk to Nene. Do you think I should talk to her right now? And Lexus was like, I don't think you need to go over there and talk to her. It's really not a good day. She really don't. She's not feeling it like that. Let's not do that. And so Marlo was like, well, I really feel like I need to go and talk to her though. And she was just like, this is just not the place and time. So then we're playing, I don't know what we was playing. We was standing on the baseball diamond. And when you have, I guess the people that keep the score, the little like treehouse thing that's on the back of the diamond. So Carlos King is up there. Love him down.
We love Carlos. Carlos, don't see this. King. I love you, Carlos. Okay,
we love Carlos King.
I'm doing my job like how you do yours. All right.
Listen, and that's when I knew I wanted to be a producer, because of Carlos King. And so Carlos was like, I already knew in his head, because I be thinking it too, like, this is a boring ass scene. I need to spice it up. So Carlos King gets a water bottle and he just starts dashing water on Nene, right? And Nene is pissed. She's like, girl, what the fuck is going on? How dare you? What is this all about? So she walks up to the thing.
Carlos King was throwing water on Nene.
So she goes up and she's reading Carlos. She's like, what are you talking about? Why are you doing this? You know, I don't play that shit. And da-da-da-da-da. I don't know if they were on good terms or not or something, because it was kind of like, you know how the producers, if you don't do stuff, then the producers get mad. So, and I think they had that relationship to the point where you could do stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like, girl, I'm finna get you back since we out here or whatever. And I think she didn't really like that. So she goes up on the thing and she's going off. And then so when she's coming down off of the little treehouse thing or whatever you want to call it, the score box, and she's leaving and Marlo is running after her. Oh, an edit is a wonderful thing, because she really wasn't, it wasn't given that she wasn't running away from Marlo at all. She was leaving because she was pissed and she was over it. And so she threw down her mic, got in her Range Rover and went on home.
I love when you tell that story. I think it's so amazing.
There are so many stories of just me kind of seeing from the back, you know, the back end of stuff, and just kind of being around and child.
Because you were also friends with Shamea. Like, you were like good friends with Shamea.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
How did that friendship start?
That started from bar one. We met out and about at bar one. I thought she was gorgeous, and we just had good times, and we drank and we partied. And at the time, she was a Atlanta Hawks cheerleader at the time. And she ended up kind of just saying, hey, what are you doing? And we would go to she would invite me to things. And she was really close with Portia because they were really good friends. They went to high school together. So when I was done working with Portia, me and Shamea just bonded to the point where, you know, I would go over to her house, we would kiki. And I remember one time I organized her closet for her. I curled her hair to go on a trip for the calendar shoot. And we stayed cool until I guess she, you know, I didn't make the cut as a friend. So you make new friends and, you know, the Texas stop, and that's just what it is. You know, people grow and people move on. Love her down, but I couldn't tell you why.
I never knew y'all stopped being friends. I don't remember that part of the story. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I think she started, like, it was kind of like when she was really on Real Housewives and started hanging around certain people, and I guess her life was going in a different way. And I was still kind of like on my come up and trying to figure it out. You know, there were certain things that I couldn't go to but she could. You know, there were certain places I couldn't be, but she could. And then it went from, you know, us going out in my Suburban and me riding her Lexus to, hey girl, you still alive?
Oh wow.
And, you know, but then, you know, congrats to her for everything she got going on. I mean, I live, you know. But yeah, things change.
Things change. People change.
Things change.
That's an
change.
expose song. Seasons change.
Okay.
People change.
Okay.
I sacrifice tomorrow just to have you here today.